Okay, so I watched Karuppu and honestly, I've been sitting with it for a bit because I wasn't really sure how I actually felt about it. And I think that confusion itself tells us something about the film. Initially, I was not exactly disappointed. I was not bored. I had a decent time watching it. But honestly, there was this weird aftertaste like it didn't quite hit the way it promised. That feeling that this could have been something else entirely. I mean, the premise alone had me genuinely excited in the start. A deity forced to fight inside a courtroom, not with their divine powers, but as a regular human lawyer, and that's the kind of concept that doesn't come around often in Indian cinema. That's a film that could have asked some genuine uncomfortable questions about faith, about justice, about what it means when the institutions built to protect people become the very things destroying them. After a good stretch in the entire first half, I thought we were getting that film. The setup was sharp, the human story grounding it is emotionally honest. Indrans in the first half quietly breaks your heart without doing anything showy. Suriya's arrival lands exactly the way it should, and the interval is pure theatre madness, and I was honestly leaning forward. But then when the second half happened, it felt like a completely different film. I mean, it was safer, louder, and more interested in giving Suriya fans what they came for. And I get it, that it's a commercial film, and the pressure must be real. Fans' expectations were real. But when you've got a premise this good, and you consciously walk away from it halfway through, that's the thing that sticks with you. Not what the film was, but what it so easily could have been. The premise. I keep coming back to the central idea of the film because it is really good, and I don't think it gets enough credit for how cleverly constructed it is. Karuppu is a deity and is specifically associated with justice and protection of common people. He is not a distant celestial god, he belongs to the neighborhood, and placing him inside a courtroom that has completely betrayed everything he stands for is a good setting choice. And when Baby Kannan, played by RJ Balaji, throws down the challenge to fight the case without using the divine powers, when within the system and by the system's own rules. I mean, that's really fascinating. That's a god experiencing what every powerless person who walks into that building experiences. Confusion, frustration, and the humiliation of watching wrong people win. There's something almost cruel about this concept in the best possible way. Imagine writing the scene where God Karuppu, who could have theoretically end all of this in seconds, has to sit there and watch procedure be weaponized against innocent people and still can't do anything about it. That's a drama. That's a character, and that's the kind of thing I wanted to watch. And that's something which might make audience feel something real. Though the film knows this on some level, as the first half shows glimpses of exactly that discomfort. But sadly, it never fully commits to sitting in that discomfort long enough to really make something out of it. Suriya, the Saviour and the problem. Honestly, nobody is going to argue that Suriya isn't brilliant in this. He absolutely is. The man has this quality where he can make you feel the weight of a scene just by how he holds himself before anything has happened. As God Karuppu in the divine mode, he is electrifying. There's a stillness to it that feels genuinely otherworldly. But the problem lies when the film becomes so obsessed with celebrating him on the screen that it starts hurting the story it was actually telling. I mean, every time when there's a choice between doing the dramatically honest thing and doing the thing that lets Suriya's aura look maximum, the film usually picks the second option every time. And true that, individually each of those moments work in the theatre. But when we string them all together, what we get is a highlight reel masquerading as a second half. The story absolutely stops moving forward and starts just generating moments after moments. The references to his own films are a good example. Some of them genuinely work and look cool and feel organic as well. But then the film keeps piling more and more, and that's when you realize that you are not really watching a cohesive story anymore. Rules that keeps breaking. This one genuinely bothered me, as the whole dramatic engine of the film is when God Karuppu accepts the challenge, and the deal is that he can't use his divine powers. Now that's our constraint. That's what creates a tension. That's the entire reason for which we remain seated for the second half. Because if he can simply just snap his fingers and sort everything out, then there's no story. So the film establishes these rules, but then it breaks them, and then re-establishes them, and then breaks them again. God Karuppu takes control of a territory and says no crime can happen here from now on. And then the villain commits crimes there in the very next scene. And there is no clear explanation for these shifts. But I get it that this is a commercial mass entertainer and we are not supposed to be logic checking in every beat. But I think even within the grammar of mass commercial cinema, internal consistency matters too. Because the rules you set up on your own are what make your climax satisfying. I mean, if our hero can win whenever he wants, but the film has been pretending otherwise, the final victory doesn't really feel earned. And because of this, the climax suffers badly. When God Karuppu finally defeats the villain, there's actually no sense of genuine relief because we were never fully convinced that there was a genuine danger. This is because the dramatic tension had been leaking out for the entire second half, and by the end, you are just watching the formality play out on screen. The courtroom idea. The courtroom in this film isn't just where the plot happens. It's a portrait of what the legal system actually feels like for people without money or connections. The endless adjournments, the lawyers who see poor clients as revenue sources, the judges with their arrangements, and the way it process itself become a punishment for ordinary people. And when God Karuppu finally shows up, the crowd cheering isn't just cheering for Suriya. It's cheering for something that the real world hasn't provided. Quick, clean, and uncorrupted justice for people who have been ground into nothing by a system that was supposed to protect them. That emotional lead is very real, and the film taps into it genuinely. And that's because this film had a chance to be genuinely special. The premise and the setup was right there. The emotional foundation, suffering of the people, for which deity himself has come to address. But sadly, it's a shame that movie was more interested in the cheering rather than moving the story forward. The background score. Honestly, the music in this film is carrying more structural weight than it probably should have to. Sai Abhyankar's background score, particularly in around Karuppu's divine appearances, was genuinely excellent. There's a devotional quality to the musical themes that feels specific and earned. The chants give Suriya's entries a ritualistic energy that suits the character perfectly. But here's the thing, I feel that the music is essentially compensating for what the screenplay isn't doing. There are many scenes like where the scene hasn't quite earned its emotional payoff, gets the score dialed up and suddenly it lands anyway. In all these scenes, I genuinely felt that the music was elevating the scenes where the film really needed rescue. Now, turning to the marks of the film, so I would give this one an honest 6 out of 10. In my opinion, as a theatrical experience, Karuppu is worth watching. It is loud, it is energetic, and it delivers enough to justify the ticket. The first half is decently crafted. An interval block will cheer you up further. But sadly, second half choose the safer road. It chose spectacle over substance, fan service over the follow through. This film could possibly be really extraordinary, and this gap is the thing that stays with you long after the credits roll.
என்ன சொன்ன கடவுளே வந்தாலும் கோர்ட் ப்ரொசீஜரை மாத்த முடியாதா வந்துட்டேன்டா இனிமே செம்ம அடி அடிக்கும்.
So now that concludes few of my discussion points and review of the film Karuppu. You too, please share your thoughts in the comment section of the video about this film and let's have a healthy discussion around it. Also, if you have liked this overall discussion, so please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel for more content ahead. Do follow me on my social handles at CineSamvad for short reviews and cinematic insights. Thank you for watching. We'll meet in the next one. Cheers.